So the exhibition is called Tudors to Windsors, British Royal Portraits. We're looking at these 5 incredible dynasties: the Tudors, the Stuarts, the Georgians, the Victorians and the Windsors. So you'll get a chance to kind of really travel from the 15th century right through the 21st century, seeing these incredible works of art. Some of these works have actually never travelled outside the UK before, and of course never come as far as Australia. So we're really lucky to have them here, probably the only time they will come here because they're of such a grand scale.
We have the core of this over 200 works from the National Portrait Gallery. I think people will be surprised because they'll be the figures who they're really familiar with and who they perhaps are kind of looking out for, but then perhaps other images that would be very unexpected.
There's a suit of armour worn by Henry VIII's son Edward, who died aged 15, and the armour was worn when he was about 12. To see a child's armour is quite incredible, and I think it also connects us to our own humanity and gives us a sense of these people as real people, not just historical figures.
So the Tudor dynasty is perhaps one of the most kind of notorious of British history. Perhaps the most kind of iconic Tudor portrait that's in the show is the Ditchley portrait of Elizabeth I. And what's so interesting within the exhibition you can see is you have works such as that which are very kind of imposing and over 2 metres high, and then we have incredibly small miniatures.
Yes, so the Stuarts is an interesting period, and I think, we think about Charles I. He was a really noted art collector. He had a huge collection of art. We've got some wonderful portraits of Charles II in all his glory, but also a whole section on Charles II's mistresses, including a fabulous portrait of Barbara Palmer.
So the Georgians kind of ruled over a period of extraordinary change in Britain. By this period, it's the moment where, at the end of the Stuart reign, where England and Scotland have come together into one country for the first time to be ruled by the same sort of power structures. Another of the Georgian portraits that's incredibly beautiful in terms of its kind of artwork and skill is Lawrence's portrait of the Prince of Wales, later George IV. And it's a project for an unfinished, unrealised medal. And so the painting itself looks unfinished. He's only focused on the face, and it's extraordinary in its kind of painterly quality.
I think there's so many things to get out of this sort of story of Queen Victoria. We have a beautiful late dress belonging to Queen Victoria from 1897, so just prior to her death. She was only about 4'11", so to think about the power that she wielded as this very short-statured woman is quite fascinating as well.
For the Windsors, that we've got kind of an ever-expanding kind of iconography, because so many of their portraits have been made, particularly in photography and in painting.
And then, of course, the rise of Princess Elizabeth to become queen after her father's passing, ending with some of the greatest artists of the 20th century who have represented her, like Andy Warhol, Thomas Struth, Annie Leibovitz and Chris Levine, working across a whole range of media. So I guess one of the most special items in the exhibition is a dress worn by Princess Diana. This very special dress was actually worn during her visit to Australia and New Zealand at that time, and after its exhibition here in Bendigo, we'll actually have to go into storage for a generation because it's been on display. So this is really your last opportunity to see it for a very long time. The last sort of section of the exhibition really looks at the new generation of the royal family.
We have Paul Emsley's portrait of the Duchess of Cambridge and Nicky Phillips of the Duke and Cambridge and the Duke of Sussex in their uniforms of the household guards.
And so we've got a wonderful portrait, of course, of Meghan and Harry from their wedding, and of course Kate and William really continuing that story. So it's really lovely to, to sort of continue that story, not just end it.
This exhibition, I think, offers a really unique opportunity to encounter 500 years of history and also to get a sense of what portraiture can do as a genre.
And it's just of such a grand scale to see these incredible works, to see them in the flesh, as it were, is such a wonderful experience for people to come and see.